Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Happy New Year's to everyone, and welcome back to Sammy Ketchum TCG. Alright guys, today I'm going to be bringing you a deck profile on Reshirom and Zekrom Tag Team GX with Ho-Oh, EX, and Expanded. I'm going to be bringing you that deck profile as well as a League Cup and a League Challenge report from the tournament of the last tournament of the year and the last tournament of the decade. Yeah, so I'm going to be doing a tournament report on both right after I do the deck profile. But before I get into that, I'm going to tell you where I got this deck idea from. I got this deck idea from Pablo Meza's channel. I watched his video and I saw this deck in action. And the minute I saw this deck in action, I said, you know what? I have to play this deck. This deck basically just sounds like me. I want to play this deck. It is good, it is fast, it has potential. It could one-shot basically mostly anything in the format. You know, so I was just like, I want to play it. So that's where I got this idea from. Shout out to Pablo Meza. Also shout out to my friend Jake Pitch, who basically lent me the Ho-Ohs to play with for this tournament, so shout out to him. You know, so but yeah, let's go ahead and jump into this deck profile. Actually, one more thing. I want to introduce you guys to the newest member of the family. Hey guys, meet Detective Sparky. This is Detective Sparky. You know, we got Big Sparky in the bag, you got Little Sparky and Detective Sparky. I just love him when he talks. It's just great, man. It's great.
Pikachu, Pika Pika, Pikachu.
Okay, guys. Let's jump into this deck profile. Alright. We have ourselves 3 copies of Reshirom and Zekrom GX. We're basically going to be using him for its Fable Flare Bolts attack, a fire and a lightning energy. You can basically discard up to 3 of any combination of fire or lightning energies from your bench Pokemon. For each energy you discard, you do 90 damage. So if you discard 1, that's 90. Discard 2, that's 180. Discard 3, that is 270. Oh God. You add a choice band to that, and that is 300 damage if you discard 3. If you discard 2 of the choice band, that's 210. 210 is knocking out most of those relevant GX Pokemon like Zoroark GX, those stage 1 evolution Pokemon and expanded that they use, which is a very good number to hit. Also, his Crossbreak GX attack is actually you can actually do that and expand it as well. Whether you're just doing 170 alone just to the bench, or possibly even, you know, doing 170 to 2 on the bench if you play Ends Resolve. So there's that. 2 copies of Ho-Oh GX. Alright, yes, these are proxies now because I was borrowing the cards for the tournament. But Ho-Oh EX basically has an ability, and it's called Rebirth. And what Rebirth does is that while Ho-Oh is in your discard pile, you can flip a coin. If you get heads, you can basically bring it and 3 different types of energies from your discard pile and put him on your bench and attach those energies to him. So that's a very, very good way of getting energy acceleration. But I mean, with this deck, you're only playing 2 types of energies. That's electric and fire, or lightning and fire. So if you're bringing them from your discard pile, you're going to attach a lightning and a fire energy to them and bring them to the bench. That's still good, you know. And that's why this is so good in this deck, because you can just, you know, flip a coin, get heads, bring them to the bench with 2 energies, and then get off fabled flare bolts. All right. 1 copy of Dedenne GX. It's in here for its dedenne change ability. You drop them from your hand, and you discard your hand and draw 6 cards. Very good. 1 Tapu Lele GX. You play them from your hand. Search your deck for any supporter and add it to your hand, which is very good. You know, any supporter. Get in, Guzma, Professor Juniper, you name it. 1 copy of Shaymin EX. With its setup ability, you play it down from your hand and you can draw up to 6 cards. You know, very, very good. Very good draw card and expand it. Also, with Sky Return, you can also use Sky Return if you have energies on them, which you will be getting energies on, you know, these bench Pokemon like this, because you're going to be using max elixir, things like that with this deck. Tapu Koko Prism, things like that. Speaking of Tapu Koko Prism, that's the next card. Alright, it's in here for its Dance of the Ancients ability. Move from play, get 2 electric energies from your discard pile. This is also very good for fueling fabled flare bolts, because you get energies, your lightning energies from your discard pile. So this is another way you can do it. And that's all our Pokemon. Alright, we are going to move to the supporters. 3 copies of Professor Juniper. Yep. Professor Juniper, discard your hand, draw 7. Self-explanatory, very good. 1 copy of N. Shuffle your hand into your deck. Shuffle both players' hands to their decks, and they draw equal amounts. They draw equal to the total number of prizes that each player has. So if you have 6, you draw 6. If you have 5, you draw 5. If your opponent has 3, they draw 3, etc. Copy of Pokemon Ranger to get rid of effects on you and your opponent's Pokemon, which is very good. Very good counters to a lot of things and expanded. So 1 copy of Guzma. You know, self-explanatory. This is our Gust and expanded. Very good. 1 copy of Acerola. Acerola is very, very good in this deck, because there are a lot of 1 prize decks, and there are a lot of Pokemon in expanded that can't one-shot you completely. And if they can't one-shot you completely, Acerola is there to pick the pieces back up, put them back in your hand. You can send out another attacker and you can keep going. So this is very, very good. Actually, this is one of the changes I think Pablo Meza was talking about putting in his deck, I actually went in and did it, and it actually really, really worked well for me in the tournament. 4 copies of Ultra Ball. Really the best Pokemon search in the game. Discard 2 cards in your hand. Search for any Pokemon in your deck and add it to your hand. 4 copies of Max Elixir. Max Elixir, you look at the top 6 cards of your deck, pick out a basic energy from there and attach it to one of your bench basic Pokemon. All the Pokemon in this deck are basics, so you can attach them to any one of those bench Pokemon. You know, this is very, very good for accelerating energies, also getting out and powering up Fabled Flare Bolts. 4 copies of Custom Catcher. Custom Catcher is very good for gusting up your opponent's Pokemon. You play 2 and you bring one of them up. Also, if you're in a pinch, if you need to draw cards, you can draw up to 3 cards if this is in your hand. If your hand is lower than 3, which is very good, which this has also helped me out, you know, within the tournament or whatever. Yeah, but yeah, you know, this was very good, very clutch, you know, in the tournament. 4 copies of Versus Seeker. You know, if your supporters go to the discard pile, you can basically reuse them with Versus Seeker. You can pick them back up, put them in your hand, and play them again. Two copies of Battle Compressor. Battle Compressor basically really helps you dump your Ho-Oh EXs in the discard pile and some of your energies. It can combo with that. You can also dump some of your supporters in there, so you could basically use them with Versus Seeker, which is very good. Two copies of Field Blower. Field Blower is very good in the expanded format. You can get rid of annoying things like float stones on Garbotoxin. Get rid of stadiums. Get rid of any annoying tools your opponents may have. Focus Sash, Choice Band, Fighting Fury Belt, etc. Speaking of tools, we've got 2 copies of Float Stone to help you retreat your Pokemon in the active spot. This gives any Pokemon free retreat. Alright, we have ourselves 3 copies of Choice Band. Choice Band basically adds 30 damage to your attack if you're facing off against a Pokemon EX or Pokemon GX, which is very good. You know, another change I made in this deck is I added a 3rd Choice Band, which I think Pablo Meza was actually thinking about doing as well. So, and having the 3rd one actually really also helped when I was playing games in the challenge and in the cup. 1 copy of Escape Rope. Escape Rope is very good for switching out both you and your opponent's active Pokemons for Pokemon on your bench, on their bench also. You know, so switching card, very good. 1 copy of Computer Search. Probably the most expensive card I had to buy over the weekend. But it's well worth it. Discard 2 cards from your hand and you could get any card in your deck. Any card in your deck, which is very good. 1 copy of Parallel City. Parallel City is very good for basically really the blue side. The blue side says if you put this blue side on your opponent, they basically can only have 3 bench Pokemon. So if they have more than 3 bench Pokemon when you play this, they have to get rid of the rest of their Pokemon on their bench. You know, let's just say, for example, if Skyfield is out and they have out 8 bench Pokemon. If I play this, they have to get rid of 5 of their bench Pokemon. So they're only left with 3, which is really devastating. So this is very good. This is also good for locking your opponent out, because if they only have 3 Pokemon on their bench, they can't play anything else down. They can't play any more dedennes or leles or shaymins or what have you, you know, which is very good. Right, we're going to the energies. 6 copies of lightning energies. 6 copies of fire energies. And 4 copies of double dragon energy. Alright. Now, there are some notable mentions, you know, to this deck that I want to mention. Alright. That these are the cards that I may basically switch out and switch back in. Then, you know, in the future, that I may make changes to the deck. 1 copies of Ends Resolve. I definitely think I need a spot for Ends Resolve in this deck, so I can potentially use the GX attack or even get more energies in play, which is very good. I really need to make room for this, so you know, maybe I'll take out the custom catchers and maybe fit this in somehow. But yeah, Ends Resolve, which would be very good for this deck. 1 copy of Marshadow. This is not the Let Loose, this is Reset Hold. So 1 copy of Marshadow. This can get rid of opponents' opposing stadiums. Things that'll slow me down, like Silent Labs. Or if I want to get rid of opponents' Skyfield, I can get rid of their Skyfield and you know, and put their bench down a notch. You know, things like that. So this, you know, this would be very good. Just more removal for me. And also it adds another Pokemon to the deck. One of the problems I had in the game was mulligans. My deck was mulliganing a pretty fair amount in the tournament. So adding more Pokemon to the deck is definitely a must. 1 copy of Zaptos. I think Zapdos could really be key in this deck and helping this deck move forward. What you could do is, like, if you could get an early start with Zapdos, it'll really help out Reshirom and Zekrom, because if you attack with this and you could basically build up your bench, it could save you from doing a Fabled Flare Bolts for 90. Instead of doing a Fabled Flare Bolts for 90 in the beginning, you can just get this guy out and attack with this and have this guy get a knockout and save 90 damage, so you can basically use it for another turn or have more damage later on down the line, which is very good. Another card I considered for this deck is Giovanni's Exile. Giovanni's Exile will be very good. I could play this, get rid of 2 Pokemon on my bench. Yeah, just give it 2. Yeah. Discard up to 2 of my bench Pokemon that have no damage counters on them. Yeah. Yeah, just remove 2 Pokemon from my bench. And all the cards attached to them. What I could do with this is basically, I could basically get rid of the Ho-Ohs on my bench that I've already used, and then put them back in the discard pile, and then reuse them. So I get the, so I could get the flipping again after I used them, which is very, very busted. I like this. I like that idea so much, but we'll see. I have to play test this a lot and figure out what I want to do. A copy of Great Catcher. If I take out custom catchers, I'm going to need another gusting ability, another gusting effect. So, also a second Guzma. Just like I said, if I take out custom catchers, I'm going to need another type of gusting effect in the deck that'll let me gust out my opponent's Pokemon. So, yeah. But that is the deck, and so we are going to move on to the tournament report. Last tournament of the year. So let's talk about that. Alright. In the first round of the League Cup, I played against, I think it was Zorogarb, Zorogarbodor, or Zorogarb Control. Alright, my opponent had a very slow start. They went first. I mean, they set up pretty well, pretty decently, but like after they set up, he really didn't have too much more to go on. I went second, drew my card, took my turn, got my stuff set up. I did Fabled Flare Bolts for 90, knocked out his active. I was able to pick up the pieces from there. I had kind of how do I say it? It wasn't a bad start, but getting the knockout on the first turn was good. It helped me continue to get more knockouts, going on throughout the game. After that, my opponent actually put damage on one of my Reshirom and Zekroms, with the Zora GX. So what I did was, came back to my turn, I played acerola, picked it back up, brought out another Reshirom Zekrom GX, attach energy, Ho-Oh on the bench, attach energy for the turn, Fabled Flare Bolts, knock it out, continued the onslaught, and then he wasn't able to really, my opponent really wasn't able to get control of the game after that, and then I think like time was called, and right when time was called, it was my turn. I had out a Reshirom and Zekrom GX in the active, but I had no other energies, no other basic energies in play, but I had a double dragon energy in my hand. I already had a double dragon on the active, and I was just like, how can I win this game? How can I take my last prize? So took the double dragon energy, attached it to my active, so now I have 2 double dragon energies attached to it. So now I can do Cross Break GX and do 170 to a bench Pokemon. And so that's what I did, and I took that game. Alright. My next game was against Pikarom. Expanded Pikarom. Now, this deck, this expanded Pikarom deck, my goodness, it was hella consistent. It was very good. Probably one of the best Pikarom decks I have ever seen and expanded. Alright, so I'm playing against this deck, And I know my deck's pretty fast. I know I can get, you know, things going and get my Fabled Flare Bolts off. So he takes the first turn, he goes, you know, and does his thing. I draw my card, I go for my turn. I open up with a bad hand. My hand is so dead. You know, I can't do anything with the hand. I have no supporters. I have no way of getting anything out. I have like 3 Versus Seekers in my hand, like a couple of energies. You know, all I needed was maybe like an Ultra Ball or even a Battle Compressor. If I had a Battle Compressor, I could put a couple of supporters in the discard pile and use one of my Versus Seekers. You know, but I got nothing. I had nothing. So I passed my turn. He goes, he gets off full blitz, you know, he gets off his energies, he's going in, you know, doing normal Pikarom things. I go for my turn and I get nothing in my hand. I draw dead. I only have one Pokemon out, and that's my Reshirom and Zekrom in the active. My hand is just hella dead. I have nothing. You know, I'm like, look, man. I was like, you got the game. I scoop. You can have it. My hand is dead. You know, it happens. You know, it happens. You draw dead. You know, nothing I can do about it. The third game I played against Guardian. You know, Guardian has weakness on Reshirom and Zekrom because it's weak to Fairy. But, you know, I go in, you know, I play the game, alright? So, she wins the dice roll, so she chooses to let me go first, and she's going second. I'm like, okay. So, I go first, you know. I get out my stuff, I get hose, I get Tapu Koko, I get stuff out, and touch energy, pass. Right? She goes and she fairy songs. You know, I mean, that's all they could do, attach energy fairy song. I take my turn, I get out my second Ho-Oh, flip the coin, got energies in play, attach Double Dragon to my active, and I go Fabled Flare Bolts, and I knock out her active Guardian. Clean and clear. Alright? She comes back. She has 2 energies on the bench one. Brings it up to the active, of course, because her Pokemon died. Attaches an energy to it. Knocks out my active Reshirom and Zekrom because of weakness. Alright? So, I take my turn. I bring out another Zekrom, Reshirom and Zekrom GX. Attach energy. I've got enough energies in play to do Fabled Flare Bolts. Clean and clear, knock it out. Take my other 3 prizes. That is game. It really didn't last but maybe like 3 turns. And that was over. And that is how fast this deck can win. Just like that. Alright. Let's see. The 4th round, I played against Mew 3, or Mewtwo and Mew tag team. Again, opening hand, I draw dead once again. You know, so, you know, I take my first turn, I pass because I can't do anything. You know, he goes, you know, he's able to do a little bit, you know, attack me, whatever. You know, I take my second turn, I get nothing, no supporters, no nothing. I get nothing. So I draw dead again. Again I draw dead. And I scoop. on my second turn. That's the end of that. You know, nothing you can do about it. My fifth game, my opponent was hungry and wanted to eat and gave me the win. I was like, okay, sure, all right, thanks. You know, I'll take it, you know. Funny thing about my fifth round opponent, I also end up playing him in the challenge. So we'll get to that actually right now. All right. Round one, I have a bye in the challenge. All right, so I have a bye, so that's a win. All right. Round two, guess what I play against? I played against my fifth round opponent. Which is actually a Guardian deck. So, played against my fifth round opponent, finally, but in the challenge. So, it's a Guardian matchup. I know that I can win this matchup because I'm just faster, you know. So, you know, he goes first, he opens up, and he plays in. You know, so at the beginning of the game, my hand is pretty decent. He plays in, you know, I shuffle my hand in, I draw my 6 cards. Guess what? He ends me into a dead 6-card hand. Oh man. So now my opening hand is trash. I draw for my turn. Nothing. I get nothing that can help me. And I think I started with a Ho-Oh in the active. So it was even more bad news. So I pass. You know. And then he goes and he takes his turn, attaches his energy, does whatever. You know, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna get my turn over. I'm gonna pass. You know, if you could do something, do it now. You know, see if you can knock me out. I take my second turn. I can't do nothing. I have no supporters. I have no way of getting out Pokemon into the discard pile. Nothing. I scoot. Here you go. You can have the game. You know, trust me, I didn't want to give him the win like that. I know that I could beat this deck. I did it in the cup. So, you know, I was just like, okay, that's how it goes. You know, you get ended to a dead hand. It's not on you. Your opponent was the one who ended you into a dead hand. So, you know. Third round, I faced an Ultra Necrozma deck, which was a very, very close game. A very close game. Very close game. It came down to the wire, and ended up, the one thing that ended up kicking my butt was Garbodor and its Trash Lance attack. That ended up kicking me in the butt. Game went to time, and he ended up pulling it out in time to win it. And man, I was floored because, you know, the game was so close and it really could have went either way. I was hurt, but the thing about it is that I was actually hurt, but I was actually glad because, you know, I actually really had a great chance of winning. And if I had a great chance of winning, if I felt like I had a great chance of winning against Ultra Necrozma, which is actually not a good matchup for my deck, then I know in the future that I have a good chance of basically doing well against that deck. You know. My fourth round, I go up against a Turbo Dark deck. You know, so he goes first. he gets out, you know, his Darkrai, gets him from the discard pile, you know, gets out, you know, a shaymin, whatever, gets out his stuff. I'm like, okay, you know, I take my turn, I go, I have Reshirom Berserker on the active, you know, I go Ho-Oh, I go Tapu Koko, and then I go Fatal Flare Bolts. I only need two energies on my bench in play to knock out his active Darkrai GX, because it's like 170, and with 2 energies I'm doing 180. So that was easily fulfilled. I knock it out, I get 2 prizes. My opponent goes. He tries to make a comeback. He tries to put damage on my Zekrom, my Reshirom Zekrom. So he does that. He puts damage on it. I take my turn. I play Acerola. I pick it back up. Drop down Parallel City. I knock his bench down to 3. And then I Fatal Flare Bolts. I get another knockout. You know, he brings up another Pokemon, and there's really nothing he can do, because he can't play dedenne, he can't play shaymins down. You know, he can't bring his Darkrai from the discard pile into the bench because of Parallel City. Parallel City has locked him down. So, you know, he does what he can. He maybe plays a Dark Patch, maybe attaches energy for the turn, tries to play Lily for maybe like 3 or something, but he has to pass. He tries to give me something else, you know, but in the end, I basically just end up knocking him out, you know, and taking that game. But yeah, for the cup, my overall record was I got 6th place. I made top 8, but we didn't have enough people for a top 8 cup, so only the top 4 got to play it out and get points. You know, I still got packs and stuff, but you know, I mean, you know, that was the sad thing about it. You know, this was the 2nd expanded cup that I make top 8 and not get points and not get to play, you know, play for the win. But, you know, but me making top 8, me doing this well with the deck going 3-2 in the cup was very good. Also going 2-2 in the challenge was really good. Overall, my record was, let's see, 3, 4, 5 and 4? Yeah, 5 and 4. Well, 5 wins, 4 losses. But, you know, but for the showing that the deck had, which was very, very good, I was very pleased with how the deck ran. The deck has great potential. I got to showcase the deck a little bit. People liked it. You know, it's very, very, very good. And moving forward, I think I will definitely be playing this in more expanded events. Heck, you may even see me. You might even see me in Dallas. So we're gonna see about that. But other than that, that is the video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Happy New Year, and make sure you take care of yourself and each other. Thank you.